Hi, this is Mitch Miller from Miller's on the Map. I thought I would take some time to do a little summary video of how I plan a trip, especially this big one we're going on, which is the largest trip we've ever done. We're going to be gone for almost 3 months or 77 days. So when we started thinking about that, we said, okay, where do we want to go? So the first thing we did is, well, we've never been to Portugal. So we started with Portugal. And then we said, well, we've got some Marriott points in southern Spain. So we said, well, that's good. Let's do southern Spain and Portugal. And from there, it kind of evolved into this trip now that we're taking, which is now incorporating the Azores, Portugal, the island of Madeira, the Canary Islands, Morocco, because we were right off of Africa, and then into southern Spain, the coast of southern Spain as we head toward Cordoba, Granada, and Seville. So in all total, it's about 77 days, longest trip we've ever been on. So as we kind of thought about how we were going to plan this, the first thing we did is, okay, let's look at what time of year we want to do this, how much time we want to spend in each place. So the first thing I did with my wife and I, is say, okay, what's our duration? What do we want to do in the calendar? How much time do we really want to spend at each place? And really map it out on a calendar. So essentially we start there. And then we kind of look at, okay, how much time do we want to spend on doing certain activities? So I start now going out into the internet and just looking at the places we're visiting and the things we want to do. I start gathering all that information, and I really now start building a spreadsheet. So on that spreadsheet, there's all the countries you're going to visit, all the places we're going to go, and I start gathering activity from different sites all over the internet. Things to do, different itineraries from different people who have visited those places. And I just start throwing that information on that spreadsheet. And I kind of start to build an itinerary of everything. And then from there, I just start breaking it down. I start looking at costs. We start booking where we're going to go, or where we're going to stay primarily. I start with that. And again, we had the points for the Marriott. So that's sort of anchored. We were going to know we got to be here then, and that kind of then developed everything else on the schedule. Decided then where we're going to stay, what if we're going to do VRBOs versus Airbnbs versus hotels. And then once we get all that done, then we start looking at flights. I try to book out as far as we can on things, because even though that's not the norm, you should get closer, get better deals. I like being able to secure it, knowing where we're at. I don't maybe get the best price, but I get good availability. And sometimes I get good price, especially on airlines if I book it far enough advance. Once I have all that done, I move all that to a summary. That summary spreadsheet now is our itinerary, and we use that on our trip. So it will be basic information we need. Where we're going, how long we're going to be there, the hotels, the addresses, the costs, all the booking numbers, contacts, things of that nature. So that summary basically is on a spreadsheet. In this spreadsheet, I constantly adjust as we plan. This one was a big trip. I've been planning it for quite a long time, and I've been constantly revising it and adding to it. So once that's all finalized, then before we go, I start creating books of the information we need. I try to put as much electronically as possible, because we don't want to carry a lot of paper because we're traveling pretty light. But this is all the information that really needs to be printed. It's vouchers we have to have, tickets we have to have, that type of thing. I also do everything electronic. So I will put everything, take pictures of everything on my phone. I will have PDFs on a thumb drive that I have on my laptop. And then I also put it on my desktop. So I have multiple redundant areas where all that information is. So in case, I lose my piece of paper, or we can't get on the internet or whatever, we always have access to information. The key for me is I like to plan. We create some situations where we're pretty flexible, but I want to plan so that it reduces frustration and stress when you're on your trip. So that's basically how I put a trip together. And with a big trip like this, 77 days, our longest one we've ever done, probably worked on it more than I need to, but I learned a lot from that. And I'm going to share more about how we do that in future videos. So come and visit us at millersonthemap.com.